Kia ora, good morning, morena, hello. Good morning. I just woke up a few minutes ago. I'm having my coffee. I have to go out in a bit. But I'm just letting you know. Oh man, I slept like the dead last night. No pun intended. So I told you in my last live everything that I was doing yesterday. What I've been doing basically all this week, right? Writing script scenes and that. I want to be able to, when I get out of here, type it all up nice and neat without my pen having rubbed anything out. Because honestly, like with the first sign, I've changed the names of the characters a gajillion times, and they still might change. I'm pretty happy with most of them, though. I'm pretty sure I found the names. Just like I want them to be as memorable as Hermione and Ron Weasley, is it, and Harry Potter. So I need to get it right because I'm well aware that when people realise the alchemy in this movie is real, they're going to copy what I'm doing. So I have to make sure that everything they copy, if they do everything right and with the purest of heart, they're going to want to copy what I'm doing, and I need to make sure that everything's safe for them. So I try a name, I rub it out. I try another name, I rub it out. And so, yeah, so once I get out of here and I hit the road to make my shows, and with my sister and that, I'll be able to type it up nicely, get it all printed out, or photocopied rather, and hand it over to my writing team when I get to America. So I'm going to need a place to stay that has a lot of rooms because I'm going to need like a creative room where my writers and musicians and that gather so that we can put all this stuff together. So remember I said I was working on the music box based on my real experience with the music box when my sister died. You know the story. I've said it time and time again. Hang on, I'm just having a sip. I'm meeting my boys this afternoon for lunch, so I've got a whole. I'm going to take my notepad and I've got questions for them to. I want their opinion, especially my little writer. When I say little, he's like 10'9". My little writing partner. So our lunch break will be a little bit of research as well for me. So I started writing the music box, and it's like I said, ever since I stepped away from social media, ever since I just let it all go and just started focusing on getting to America, building my school, getting the first few projects written out, it's all just flowing. It's like I it's like I had a dam full of ideas that was being blocked by me doing social media. It's like I had wasted all that time. Not wasted because I got to build my vision board. I got to let people see what I was building, and in turn, it's made my sister hysterical because she said the other day she can see exactly where this is going, and she's so excited that she gets to be a part of it. She said she just wants to help out any way she can, and so I'm just going to let her rest and be my stylist. Make sure I don't go out looking like a dick. Give me advice when I need it, like with my palliative care home and all of that sort of thing. She deserves to retire and just chill and travel for the rest of her life, and be a part of whatever she wants to join in on with her and her moko, her grandson, her grandchild. So people are starting to see it now. People in my actual real physical life, they're starting to see it now, and they're all wanting to come on board. And it's kind of like, it's like my body's just gone, ah. And in doing that, it's just all this purity is flowing out of me. I say purity, I'm writing horror movies. But I love horror movies. I love, it's just, it's so me, it's so who I am. And I'm going back to the old way of doing things. Um, Modern horror, oh, movies have been ruined with too much graphics and adding too much technology and rehashing the same thing over and over and over again. And with people allowing Disney to buy up all the creative ideas, they're vampires. They've sucked the family entertainment movie industry dry and ruined everything. And I want to bring all of that back. I can remember when I was little sitting down on a Sunday after dinner, after we had our Sunday Catholic roast, watching Disney come on. And it all starting, and Walt Disney sitting there, saying his little bit, and then all the little cartoons and that coming on with my family, and it feeling special. I just had a bath, I was in my jammies, the sun was still out. I remember in Alexander Street, the house that I was born into in Palmerston North, where the pedophile tried to take me and my best friend. I remember sitting in the living room with the towel wrapped around my head, like still just had a bath, with the heater going, with the sun still out. So it must have been on about 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the winter time. And belly full of Sunday roast and that Disney tune for the TV show in the 70s coming on, and Walt Disney being there. Sometimes it was Jiminy Cricket, and my parents were there, and a lot of my siblings and that were there, and it just felt like Disney brought us together as a family. And then, the Sunday mornings, while Mum was getting breakfast, we'd turn on the radio and listen to the family matinee radio stories. And they don't do that anymore because it's like it's advertising this and promoting that and digital and AI, and people hate AI. People are rejecting AI at a monumental pace, and that's why it's crashing and burning, because people just don't want to deal with it. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that AI is sucking the creativity out of writers and artists, and that, thinking they can do it themselves. I'm a lot of my ads on YouTube are AI written, AI generated movie story things, and they're so bad. They're embarrassingly bad. They're so lifeless. It's like it's like watching your doppelganger try and be you, where there's no life, there's no empathy, there's no soul to it, and it's just horrendously bad. It's embarrassing. It's honestly embarrassingly bad. And so when I get to Fire in upstate New York, I want to bring that family feeling back. Even for the older kids that do take part in the older part of our Halloween festivals and that sort of thing, doing it together as a family, doing it together as a group of friends, doing it together as people at work. I want to get to the point where my foundation has got the kind of reputation where business owners at the car mechanics, or the hotel down the road, or the supermarket and that, want to buy tickets and say to their staff, we're going up, we're going to book the bus, meet outside work on this day at this time, blah, 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 and we're going to go and spend the night at Firetown and do their whole Halloween thing, or we're going to go, I'm booking us all to go and see the latest horror at Firetown. I want people to actively come along, bring their friends, bring their families, bring their partners, their spouses, their kids, their grandparents, and that, because I've made sure that there's something there for everybody, including Halloween. And I say there's no holds barred with my Halloween, and that's still true. If you come to my Halloween festival and engage in, like, say, our live rendition of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, or you go into our haunted house, if you're over a certain age, beware of the fact that our purpose is to scare the crap out of you. it's psychologically been tested that when you get the crap scared out of you, when your instinct kicks in for that fight or flight scenario, and I may do a maze, I may do like a Halloween maze as well. Once your adrenaline calms down and your cortisol levels have gone back down in that, it makes you contemplate your fate. It makes you think about your life. It makes you glad to be alive. And so for the next few days, you tend to be happier, you're more upbeat and mentally uplifted because you realise how close you came to quote unquote death. That's how your body feels psychologically. That's how your body feels when your adrenaline and cortisol kicks in. It's triggered your instinct for fight, freeze, or flight. And so then when everything comes down and you realise you're not in danger, it makes you happier. The dopamine and that kicks in, and your serotonin and all that, and you just feel at peace. And you become more appreciative of your life. And a lot of people will start to reevaluate their life and start making better choices or making decisions that they'd been putting off, like, I need to move out of this house, I need to quit my job, I need to end my marriage, I need to stop drinking, I need to do this, I need to do that, and start living my life. And that's the whole point of Firetown, bringing people in as an elemental alchemist, as an ascension scientist, and putting stuff out there to make people see the true extent of what their life is about, of what's going to meet them in the afterlife, of what death is going to feel like psychologically, emotionally, that sort of thing, so that you can appreciate and reevaluate the life you're living now, so that when you do die, you don't die with regrets. If you're a long-term follower of mine, you know that I have always said that as a death angel, as somebody who sits with a lot of dying people, not just because of my work, but also because being Māori, the way our terminally ill people are treated, and the way that we gather as a iwi, as a clan, as a as their support in the community, as a community, we basically have these protocols before and after they die that is all about holding their hand to let them know there's nothing to be afraid of when you do let go and join the ancestors and the stars again. But then also giving them time to settle into their death after they die, when we have their tangi, and we babysit them, so that there's no trauma between when their spirit leaves their body and when they go off to be reborn, once they get to the cosmos and have their little meet and greet with the ancestors, and then their fate is decided for them what happens next. It's all very personal, and it's all for not just them, but for us as well, and how we grieve, and preparing ourselves for the grieving process, because the first year of death is really hard. And then when we have their unveiling, when we unveil their headstone, because we don't know what their headstone is going to look like on their grave until 1 year to the day they died, because you're given 12 months to settle into the grief. And then when you unveil the headstone, that's usually when the grieving starts, because then it's finalised, it's real. But knowing that they've already moved on, and it's our way of saying it's okay to let go. We're saying to each other it's okay to let go, and then we move on with our lives the best that we can without them. And I just think nobody grieves better than Māori people. Nobody understands death better than Māori people. And so I'm bringing a lot of that into what I'm creating as a death angel, and sitting with a lot of people who are dying. I have always said to them, is there anything that you want everyone to know? And they always, 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 always say without fail, for the hundreds of people that I have sat with before they've died, don't die with regrets. And so I've turned that into a business empire. So, I want people in their 70s, 80s, 90s coming down to my milk bar with their spouse that they've been married to for 60 years, and having milkshakes and ice cream sundaes in our milk bar, just like they did when they were courting. You know, I want them to come and sit down with their mokopuna, their grandchildren, and their growing up children and all that, and watch these movies. And like the Amber Rose is going to be done exactly like the 1937's version of Snow White. I've even composed the music to sound, and trust me when I say I studied a lot of Disney movies, classic Disney movies, the originals, and then started composing the music around that kind of sound and feel. And when I get with my music department and all of that, they can sit down and do the same thing, listen to that genre of that time, and then listen to what I've composed and fuse the two together, so that when older generations are sitting watching the Amber Rose and it comes up on the screen, they're going to say, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm watching a Disney movie from when I was a kid." But their growing up grandchildren will be sitting right there, their kids will be sitting right there. I want people to come to Firetown and go, that this is just like when I watched The Omen for the first time at the movies. This is exactly like when I watched Friday the 13th, Halloween. This reminds me of the Halloweens from when I was a kid. Hang on. All the shops in Firetown will do trick or treat for the kids who, if they're staying, if they're booked in to come and stay, or, because it honestly depends on how far away from civilization we are. But all the kids at Firetown will be able to go trick or treating with all the shops, but it's all going to be done like treasure hunts and all that as well. So even the kids at the foundation, or the people that are staying in the hotels and that, their kids won't miss out on trick or treating. They'll be able to go trick or treating at all the shops and businesses and all of that. And we're going to do like big treasure hunts and all of that sort of thing. So it's like I was holding everything back because I wasn't sure where I was going. I wasn't sure where I was going to be building Firetown, because I'd given up ever thinking that I would be building it in America, that I'd be going to America. But things are changing. And when it was kind of suggested to me through my ancestors in the ethers, hey, have you thought about revisit this, because things are about to change there, I couldn't see how it was possible, and now I see it. I see it so clearly now that it's like I've relaxed and gone, oh. You know that scene in Spirited Away when No Face, when No Face is handing out those little black balls and it's feeding into people's greed, right? And then when she makes that bath for that big god thing, she puts the water and the herbs in there in. Oh gosh, I can't remember. Does she put the ball in his mouth? The black. I can't remember. God, it's been so long since I watched it. I am working on my cortisol level. My short-term memory loss, it's improving impeccably, don't worry. One of the ways that you help bring your cortisol levels down and fix your hippocampus from short-term memory loss from narcissistic abuse is you force your memory, you force your brain to keep thinking. And that's what I'm doing, which is why everything's starting to flow out. I can't remember if she gives the god one of the black balls to eat, but I know when he gets in the water, he's all muddy. And then when he hops in the bath and all the herbs get put in the bath and stuff, he does that, oh, and all the mud washes off him. I think she does put the black thing in his mouth. I'm going to have a look now. I'm so sorry. I will remember. Once I remember it, I don't forget it. And then all the dirt washes off. Remember, the bike comes out of him and there's sticks. Or is that what it is? She pulls a stick out of him or something? And then he ends up becoming clean and purified, and all the dirt and yuck just comes gushing out. And then it turns out, he's like the god of the water. She's looking down at his beautiful face in the water, and he's so happy. And yeah, it's like she cleanses him of, like, he purges all the toxicity that he soaked up from the pollution of man, and it purifies him and cleanses him. And that's what it feels like. Since I walked away from social media, since I let go of everyone and everything that was holding me back, slowing me down, gaslighting me, faking, lying, abusing, stealing, all that sort of thing, the stuff I tolerated, the stuff I kept on to and just tolerated and kept my mouth shut on and didn't stand up for myself or didn't purge it, it's now all been purged. And I've just gone, oh, and as a result, the dam has burst. And now it's all coming out. So then when I started writing, once I figured out the names of my characters, the teachers and the students especially have got the names of a couple of the characters, like the mayor of the town, and the first sign and all that. I thought, well, I'll just sit and work a bit on the music box because I need to be able to get that done. And then, oh my God, it is a horror. My son and I decided to turn it into a horror. I've got some feel-good stuff there already, but this is going to be the first horror we make. This is other than the first sign, which is our Harry Potter, our first live action. Our first animated is going to be the Amber Rose. The music box is going to be our first horror. And as I was going to sleep last night, and I've written some pretty cool scenes in it, that I felt like I was watching Halloween. I felt like I was watching The Burning, April Fool's Day, Happy Birthday to Me. When I was writing it, that's the thing. I'm writing these scenes for these movies, The First Sign and The Music Box, and I'm literally seeing the movie in my head. Like I'm sitting, looking up, watching the movie screen. And I'm in the audience of my own movie as I'm writing it, and it is the coolest thing. You can test my blood. I don't have a single chemical in my blood. I don't have any drugs, any alcohol, no nothing. Nothing. And yet it's like, as my pen is literally hitting the paper, which I'm going to be dragging into town today so I can write down my boys' answers, I'm seeing it like a projector in my mind, the actual scenes. And this is one movie I can't wait to go and see at the movies. Because there's a lot of suspense and, and when I was going to sleep last night, just as I was drifting off, because I sleep for hours, I got up briefly just after 1, I think it was, to have a brief conversation with my boys about today, and then passed out again and woke up just before I made this. Because, working with biorhythmics and that while I'm writing and getting it manifesting and stuff, it takes a lot of energy out of you. So as I was going to sleep last night, it hit me like a ton of bricks. This movie is going to be Halloween, our first Halloween theme. Because I want it to be done in the style of like Small Soldiers, I'm not going into detail, but in the style of, not the story of, because this is a horror movie. Like this is gonna be like, you know, it's a horror. That's what I'm gonna say. You're not gonna figure out the story. Like, you're gonna be quite blindsided by the story. Once it's all explained in the movie, you're gonna be like, holy crap. I like to add twists to my movies where you don't see stuff coming. Like Mountain High. You're not going to see that one coming. That's like yeah. So anyway, sorry, there's someone outside my window. Hang on, just give me a minute. There's someone outside my bedroom window, and I get shy. I can't wait to get out of here and get my own place where I can have my bedroom windows open and the curtains open. My neighbours are fantastic. You know, I love where I live, but it's just where my bedroom window is situated. Everybody has to go past my bedroom to go to the back and to do the bins and stuff. So I have to keep my blinds closed all the time, and I want to be able to open my windows. So yeah, so sorry. And I realised how I've written this movie is perfect for the pledge that I made to my son that our first Halloween house will be animatronics. We wanted to pay homage to FNAF. He wanted to do something FNAF based, because this was at a time when he was younger and he was into FNAF. And he said, our first Halloween, can we please make it FNAF inspired? And then I realised as I was writing the music box, and it's not what you think, so don't go thinking that it's what you think, because it's not. But I can turn it into, like, it's just fallen into place without any real forethought from me, that our first Halloween experience for the haunted hotel, for the haunted house, is going to be FNAF inspired. I didn't even, I've been saying I wouldn't mind to do it in the style of Small Soldiers, and we want to do a FNAF inspired Halloween. I didn't put the two together until I started writing the script out for the music box. And I very nearly sat up and recorded this video last night, but I was just so bloody tired. I thought I'll do it in the morning. So here we are. I'm so excited. Ever since I walked away from it all, ever since I just put it all down, stepped into my power, and that's the thing. And finally throwing the veil off and allowing myself to step into my supernatural power. Now I know how to use the Archimedes bow, using the laws of convex linear reversion, and people are afraid of me, and so they should be. If they've offended me or offended God, they need to be very afraid of what's coming. But in not hiding it anymore, and throwing off the veil and just saying, look, this is me. This is who I am. All letting go of all that inhibition has just let it all come out. And I can't even begin, like, as a writer and as an artist, If you're an artist, you're going to know what I mean, I think. And writers, you write stuff, you see it in your head, like little plays and all that. You'll see it in your head and then you write it all down. And then it either feels right or it doesn't. And if it doesn't feel right, you cover it up and start again. But I have never ever in my 50 plus years of writing, because I've been writing since coming up with stories, since I used to sit in front of that radio with my dad and my siblings, listening to Bad Jelly the Witch and The Little Engine That Could and all of that. I've been creating stories since before I was even at school. I've never had my pen be a projector before, where when I put the pen to paper, I'm literally watching, it's like I'm watching it in front of my eyes, like I'm sitting in the audience watching it on screen, because I've stepped into my power. The universe is projecting what I'm creating back to me, like the cosmic whale, sort of. And I can see it in front of me, and it's so cool, because now I know what the actresses and actors are going to look like. Now I know what the scenes and the sets are going to look like. Now I know how I'm going to feel watching those movies. And the thing is, I'm not expecting anything we create to become world famous, to win awards or anything like that, because they're literally just school projects for my children. I just want people to come along and sit and watch it, or buy it, or partake in it, or join in it, or listen to it, because they support what the children are doing. Okay, it went a little bit too long, or it didn't really scare me, or, not my cup of tea, but I'm so appreciative that these kids had the chance to make it, that, I want to support it and be a part of it. But if I've done this right, I want people leaving and thinking that was incredible, or I'm so relaxed, or I feel at peace, or I feel so calm, or I'm so proud of those kids. I can't wait to come back and see what they do next time. If I get people coming back again and again and again, if I see regulars turning up to my Christmas and Halloween festivals and my, art, music and food festivals and all of that sort of thing, I will be over the moon. I know that I did the right thing. How I built this is right. I want people to keep coming back again and again, because they love the food, they love the interaction, on stage with the audience, with the stuff that we put on, when you're in the audience. And I want people to come and sign up to my streaming service so that they've got the movies there to watch them again. And they tune in every week to watch, because see, with my streaming service, it's going to be done like the old days, where, see, like TC, Draco TC and the Wolfman, our version of Miami Vice and Moonlighting and all that sort of genre, it's once a week. And When the Bell Breaks is once a week. It's not going to be like, and the Time Jumping Detective is on once a week. We'll have a TV lineup, just like we did when I was a kid growing up in the 80s. So it's not going to be like Netflix and that, where you can just sit and watch the whole series all in one go. Because, we want you to get outside and smell the flowers and stuff as well. So, I want you to, no, I don't want to go out, because it's Wednesday and the next episode of the Time Jumping Detective is on. That sort of thing. So, taking it, stripping away all the digital and the fancy and the advertising and the greed, stripping it all back, to taking it back to simplified and pure and wholesome. I say that because of my horror movies, but unlike American horror movies, there will be no boobs and no sex and no naked. You know, get a grip. Americans always put those in horror movies when they're not being creative. There's no need to put nudity and boobs and stuff in a horror movie. Absolutely not necessary whatsoever. There's none of that in any of my stuff. Not even like anywhere close. You might have a couple holding hands or having a wee snog or something, but that's it. Because if you're like me and you've got parents that say, if you think you're mature enough and it's not going to give you nightmares to sit and watch this, you can watch it. But if you get nightmares or you get scared or anything, you're never watching it again, to their kids. I want them to not be exposed to that sort of thing. I'm trying to keep children innocent. We need to go back to when children are innocent and not exposed to that sort of thing. I clutch my pearls every other conversation with my boys with the stuff that comes out of them, even though they're like nearly 18 and 16 and a half. But I'm like, sorry, 15 and a half and nearly 18. No, 16. Oh, God. 16 and a half because he's just had his birthday. He's 16, just over 16, and nearly 18. And they say stuff and they're like, Mum. And I'm like, I know, but in my mind, you're still like 2 and 3 and a half, like you're still little, you're still babies. And to hear growing up language come out of their mouth, not the swearing, but the adult things they say when they're joking about and repeating things that they see online and that, I clutch my pearls because I just I want to keep children innocent for as long as possible, so that when they do interact with the Shrek and that, it's with someone they love and it's special and it's meaningful and emotional, you know. But you've got children before they're even at primary school now, being exposed to this sort of thing, and it makes me very, very uncomfortable. The amount of women selling their bodies on TikTok and Snapchat and Faceache and it's embarrassing. I flagged a lot of stuff on Instagram. Believe it or not, I got kicked off for my vision board, and because they said that it was fraudulent and that my first one, my Dreamweaving Alchemist, wasn't in alignment with Instagram, and yet I was the one constantly flagging Instagram for things coming up on my ads and that were ladies' private parts. There was even one where a dog was doing something to a girl, and they said all of them got removed apart from that one because they said it was they didn't deem it as being harmful. This is Zuckerberg. And yet my calling pedophiles and that out wasn't in alignment with them because, you know, but then my other one was fraudulent and they had to protect their community from my vision board, which was literally just screenshots of, this is what I wouldn't mind my hotel to look like. You know, like ideas for my hotel, ideas for, you know, movie posters and that sort of thing. It wasn't in alignment because obviously Zuckerberg is a bitch to Trump and all of that, because they're all on, if they're in the files, they're all in it together. And I'm the enemy. And they are doing everything they can to try and stop me from getting to America and building this school. But since I revisited going to New York again, it's like, and I walked away, and I'm just like, because I don't need social media to be creative. I'm perfectly happy to do it all on my own, even without my laptop. I just took to pen and paper. And then going back to the simple way of doing things before social media and all of that, it's all just come out. It's just flowing to the point where I almost can't stop it. And I don't want to. So I should set up. So I'm not. And now people are coming to me in my real life and saying, I want to be a part of this. Because they can see what it is I'm building. As I'm projecting it, as I'm writing it, it's like they're seeing what is on the movie screen of my mind and they can see it too. And they're like, I'm going to give up my life to come and join you because I can see what you're building and I don't want to miss this opportunity to be a part of it. So when I've got people like my sister and my nephews prepared to give up their entire lives and move to the other side of the world to come and be with me to build these projects, and that it's the greatest honour. I'm so honoured. I feel so privileged that they have faith in me enough to know that what I'm building is going to change their life as well as mine and the lives of the thousands of children that are inevitably going to pass through those gates as students. If I can get my sister dressed up as an extra on the set of one of my movies, or like have her be like an extra in my soap opera, would have hit the jackpot, because then it means that she's relaxed enough that she's let all that tension go and she's just jumping in feet first. Bugger it, why not? You know, have her dress up as one of the extras, and when the bell breaks, have my sister be an extra, or even like have a little talking part if she wanted to. Because the thing is that when we were kids, she was the one that used to be with me when we were pretending to be talkback radio hosts. She was the one that used to act with me when we were playing shopkeeper and dentist and, you know, hospitals. And our hospitals one, like we had props. We had hospital files, we had props that we had made. And we would spend hours playing General Hospital, our version of General Hospital, or Shortland Street if you're from New Zealand. But this was like in the 80s. And she's forgotten that. She locked that part of her away. And if in the course of her coming and being with me in Firetown, she sees it all and one day thinks, oh, bugger it, why not? And then we get to dress her up and have her as like an extra. And when the bell breaks, her getting to be in a soap opera, I mean, oh my God. If it means she's finally let go. She's finally trusted and just jumped in and gone, bugger it, why not? You only live once. Don't die with regret. Don't die with any regrets. Get all your regrets out. You know, that's why I've made videos in the past that I've deleted where I've let people know how I felt about them, because I didn't want to die with regrets. And even though it was me saying goodbye to them, I didn't want them to know, I didn't want them not to know what they meant to me when I knew them, when I loved them, sort of thing, you know, because I don't want to die with regrets. So I get it all out. I purge it all. So that when I die purified, and I don't lay there on my deathbed and think, God, I wish I'd told so-and-so, you know, like, and telling my best friend, my ex-best friend, that I always loved him. That, you know, he was so special to me. Even though I'm saying goodbye, I've brought closure to myself because I never got it from you. I don't have any regrets. I'm not holding you responsible for what happened. I forgive you. Because it's to help me heal. You know, that sort of thing. It's so that I don't die with regrets. And people keep trying to kill me, so I need to hurry up and get it all out. with the amount of times I've almost died. How do you kill death though, eh? So anyway, so yeah, I've been on quite the journey this last week. I pulled the veil back, stepped into my power, exposed who and what I was, and as a result, I've been rewarded with everything being effortless in my real world. My dream with my nan, when Maui and his brothers came up with the whale and put my waka on the whale, and my nana said, "Don't worry, we're going to make it easy for you, just relax." It also reminds me of my let the sunshine dream, when I was told you've got one more hurdle, one more hill to climb, but don't worry, we're going to make it easy for you. And the mountain turned into an escalator and took me to the top of the mountain. And then I said my speech. Well, I was talking about Omicron. And yeah, and then the buffalo came up the hill with my boys on its back and the children all dancing up the hill. The 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 hill, the mountain, turning into an escalator so I didn't have to climb it. That's the whale rowing my boat. It's just effortless, effortless swimming through the water. The hard the hard part's coming to an end. I just get to enjoy the ride over or the ride up. So anyway, so yeah, so I realised last night that I've just written the theme to our first haunted Halloween house, and I am so excited. And it's exactly what my son wanted when he was how old? We're going back to before 2019. So he would have been like maybe 7, 8, 9 years old maybe when we talked about this. Because I know that he'd written a part in it for Martin, my husband, soon to be ex-husband, soon to be non-husband, hopefully, if I can get my annulment, God willing. So that's how long we were working on this haunted house for, with the FNAF theme. I used to buy him all the FNAF toys, and we'd play games, these jump scare games, scared the oh my God, I used to shake, like I would be shaking. But I'm the mum that likes to fuel their kids' imaginations by jumping them feet first, because I wanted to make memories with them so that I didn't die with regrets, because I never got that with my parents. My dad was always away with the military, so when he was home and we did family things together, I held on to them for dear life and memories, and now I get to recreate all of that as an adult because they were special to me. And obviously we're going to have like, if you're in the service, we're going to have discounts. If you're a veteran, we're going to have discounts. Some things, like when we have Veterans Day, our salute to veterans. If you come to our foundation, that we're going to put on like free food, and you'll get to sit. I'm not going to go into details, but I was coming up with it the other day for Veterans Day, our salute to Veterans Day. Get all the veterans on the bus, and we're going to do like a whole thing, and they'll get free food, and yeah, so they can sign up to the George Callaghan Veterans Trust if they decide that they want to be buried in our cemetery and come to us, for their palliative care needs and all of that. So yeah, we'll put on a whole day where they're just given the respect they deserve. They can sit and tell stories to the kids, and we can write their stories into some of my movies and immortalise them. So yeah, anyway, so I'm going to go because I have to pop out for a minute. And I will speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Mwah.